going on, guys? Welcome back to Swanted Productions for the Love of Sports. My name is Robert Swan. I am the host of this show. Today, I am joined by none other than my friend Ozzy. Today, we are going to be talking about the Lakers 2021 to 2022 NBA roster. So, before we start, Ozzy, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then we'll dive right into breaking down this roster completely.
Thank you, my boy. As you know, I'm OZ. I am a musical artist, a rapper, songwriter. I'm also a diehard Laker fan. I may be a little bit biased, but I will still give you facts.
Absolutely. And Ozzy, the reason why I had you on this show is because you and I have always been talking Los Angeles Lakers basketball. I haven't seen you in like over a year, but we're always in touch every single game where we're talking to each other. So I couldn't think of anyone else more perfect to fit this role for this show today. Super excited to have you on. So let's get right into it, okay?
Mhm. Let's
All
get
right.
it.
So before we start, guys, I just want to let you know we are not going to have a LeBron James or Anthony Davis segment on this show. Needless to say, we already know what they bring to the table. Today, we are strictly going to be breaking down the new roster additions. So just wanted to let you know there will be no LeBron James, no Anthony Davis. We already know what they do. So the very first person I want to start with today, probably the biggest acquisition this summer, is Russell Westbrook. This man is going to be amazing on this team. It might take a while, but in my mind, I think he's going to do great. Last season, he averaged 22.2 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 11.7 assists. The man is a walking triple double. It's insane. And I think personally that he is just going to be a walking triple double this year as well, and it's going to be a lot easier for him. Ozzy, how do you see Russell Westbrook fitting into the Los Angeles Lakers, and what do you think that he will provide?
I think he's going to actually really mesh well. People are talking about his shooting ability and everything like that, but I don't think that's going to really factor in when you see his aggression. He has that Mamba mentality. The man trained with him, so I think it's going to only not only elevate all the other players' games. I think what's perfect is he loves to feed his bigs. So I think it's going to be perfect with AD playing, and then it's going to take the load off of LeBron, so he doesn't have to be that main point guard. So I think it's going to work out. It's going to gel. I think it's going to be very fundamental to, and especially with all the other people we activated. So.
Absolutely. And if you remember back, Lakers fans, there was an interview with Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
Uh,
There was an interview where he was asked what player reminds him of himself the most in today's game. And his answer was Russell Westbrook. He does bring that Mamba mentality. I agree with you. I think it might take a little bit time to all gel the big three. But I think
yeah.
Russell Westbrook is going to be absolutely loaded this year on assists. He has 3-point shooters all around him. He has LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It might take maybe probably a month to figure out his role, but I think he's just going to be walking triple double, and it's going to be so much easier. I'm super excited to have him. And the
Mhm.
one thing that has been getting on me as a Lakers fan is people saying, "Oh, we lost defense." Oh, yeah, that is true. We did lose a couple
Mhm.
defensive players, but Russell Westbrook can play some defense. Like
Oh yeah, that
that man.
that man is a hawk. That man is a ball hawk right there. Like he is like his intensity when he plays. Like especially when he was doing with OKC and Houston, and, the Wizards. I mean, he's constantly still had that. Like he's always been a defensive hawk. So.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature athletic wise,
Mhm.
and I think everyone on this team is going to know their role going into the season. So, with that being said, I think Russell Westbrook will be a solid defender this year. He knows what he needs to do.
Mhm.
So let's move on from Russell Westbrook. I think we both know he will be great in the system. He'll figure it out. So let's
Mhm.
go on to the next guard that we're going to speak about today. And I was very impressed with him in preseason. He looked really good defender. His
Mhm.
name is Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick
Mhm.
Nunn played 29.5 minutes last year, averaged 14.6 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. And he is a 38.1% 3-point shooter. So, Ozzy, what do you think of Kendrick Nunn? I think this was one of the biggest acquisitions, if not, obviously for Russell Westbrook. But what do you think
Mhm.
of Kendrick Nunn signing him on a 2-year deal?
I think it was actually a great pickup for getting somebody of that caliber. Obviously, he didn't get to show all of his talents the last season with the Heat, due to injuries and other positions being acquired over there. But I remember to his rookie season, he was going off. He was like a slasher, and not only that, he was a great shooter. So I think he's gonna fit in with the role of the Lakers like very well. I think it's gonna gel. And he has a lot of people to learn from. So he has Russell Westbrook and he has Rondo with him. So I think it's gonna bring that intensity in the Lakers roster.
Absolutely. And the one thing I think about Kendrick Nunn is that he's a very underrated defensive player, which is going to
Uh-huh.
fit perfectly into Frank Vogel's scheme. At the very end, we will give a breakdown of our beliefs to the Lakers starting lineup. But to me, I see Kendrick Nunn sliding into that two spot with Russell Westbrook because one, he's a good defender and he's a scorer. But we never know. We'll continue with that on. Watching him last night, he played a lot in the preseason, handled the ball
Uh-huh.
very well, defended pretty solid, got a couple points up there. Very excited to see going forward what else he brings. So let's move on to the next person. And this person I am very, very excited to talk about because he went off last night in the little time that he had. Malik Monk had a
Uh-huh.
like 8-0, 10-0 stretch by himself, a natural born scorer, it looks like, which is so dangerous because we have so many of these players on the Lakers. It's going to be even hard to think about who starts, who gets all the minutes. But let's talk about Malik Monk. After 20.9 minutes last season, he averaged 11.7 points, 2.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and a 40.1 3-point percentage. And he was stroking it last night from a 3-point percentage. Ozzy, what do
Uh-huh.
you think of Malik Monk?
Uh, Man, when I saw that news, I was talking to my brother. He was like, "Yo, we just got Malik Monk." Like, bro, I was like, yo, I was like, I was like, finally, like we needed some shooters because that's what we struggled with last year. Our 3-point percentage was one of the lowest in the leagues. So acquiring him was definitely much needed. I've always loved watching this game, and I think he's gonna mesh well in the second unit and coming off the bench. That's gonna be what we need. And I think it's going to run really well when Russell Westbrook is running with that second unit, or if Rondo is coming in. So I think we need somebody that needs to be spot up, and he's very good at shooting corner threes. So
Absolutely. The great thing about Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk is that they're very young players. So they kind of even out that veteran age on the Lakers roster. So when
uh,
the veterans aren't playing, those players can step in and take all the minutes. It is
uh,
great pickups for the future. I hope that they stay going forward because with a core of Kendrick Nunn, Anthony Davis, Malik Monk, THT, all those people, that's a pretty bright future.
uh,
Pretty
oh
bright
yeah,
future.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's. I think I couldn't have asked for anything better. So.
The only thing I'm worried about with Malik Monk is the defense
Mm,
because Malik Monk is a scorer, can come in and let the ball roll in, but he looks kind of thin out there, looks kind of small into the lineup. Maybe he has to put on a little bit more size, but he is young. I believe he's like 22, 23. So we have to keep that in mind going
mm,
forward that these guys aren't fully developed yet. I guess you could say you're fully developed around like 25, 26. But that's the only concern I have of Malik Monk.
uh,
It's all going to come down to roster breakdowns, and that's what we're doing here. We're going to do different
uh,
lineups, and it really comes down to who's on the floor and who's going to mesh with each other. So with Frank Vogel as a coach, Lakers fans, we can be very frustrated at times. So I am very interested to see what this man has going on. The next person we're going to talk about, very similar to Malik Monk, is a little bit older. Wayne Ellington averaged 22 minutes, 42.2% from the 3-point percentage, averaging 9.6 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. What I think of Wayne Ellington, he's going to be on the floor when LeBron James is on the floor. That's
uh,
what I think. He might be the best shooter on this team. I really can't say because Carmelo is solid, Malik
uh,
Monk is solid, but I think Wayne Ellington is definitely up there for one of the best 3-point shooters on this team. What do you think of Wayne Ellington?
Uh, you know, I think he's definitely stepped it up ever since last time he was on the Lakers. Because I remember he used to be so streaky. Like I used to. I mean, that was a rough time. I mean, I think anybody that was a diehard Laker fan knows it was a rough time going back then. But ever since his time with Detroit and being just a like I was like I saw we picked him up and I was like, bro, this is nice, bro. Like he like you're right though. He's gonna be in there. He's gonna be in the mix. He's gonna be in the mix.
Yes, and I believe when he was on Detroit last year, he went off against the Lakers when we played them. I guess the man had a little bit of revenge game in him. He's like, hey, I'm a free agent this year, guys. Don't forget about me. But I am super excited. Ozzy, so excited because the Lakers have always been horrible three-point shooting team.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whenever the Lakers, they get a good three-point shooter, but then they shoot bad when they come to the Lakers.
Dude,
Realistically, this year, I don't see that happening because we have so many great three-point shooters. Don't see it happening, but it's just so much to look forward to on the Lakers. I'm absolutely excited. The next two people we're gonna bring into this video. We're not gonna go too deep into them because they have been on the Lakers and they are on the Lakers. Those people are THT and Rondo. So let's start with Taylor Horton Tucker. Signed on a 3-year deal. I believe it was somewhere around $30 million. This is what I'm interested in. Is THT going to get playing time this season, Ozzy? Because there are so many people, including Rondo, including Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, all these players. I see Taylor Horton Tucker as an investment in the future. I think he's like 20 years old, 21 years old, somewhere around there.
He's very young. He's very young.
We got him for 3 years. How do you see Taylor Horton Tucker fitting into this team this year?
So it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough because I feel like they are going to put him in that starting lineup. That's what I think.
Interesting.
And it's gonna be hard because obviously now Westbrook is there, LeBron's obviously is there, AD's there, so there's all these scores, and I think it's kind of going to diminish his role a little bit in that starting lineup. So, but if he does come off the bench, I think he'll have his time to shine. I think. I mean, we saw what he did last year. He was definitely vital for us. I see the strides and the improvements, but I think we need to give it more time. Like you said, he is a future investment. So,
with that being said, I'm very interested to hear your starting lineup because that is surprising to hear THT as I'm guessing you're starting too. Okay. All right, we'll save it for the end of the video because we don't want to spoil anything. But moving forward, let's talk about Rajon Rondo. Also, very interesting guy with all these guards on the roster, right? I don't see him playing as much of a role in season, but we can't forget about playoff Rondo. If you are a Lakers fan and you are watching this right now, then you know that Rajon Rondo was a very pivotal, vital piece to winning the championship in the bubble. Playoff Rondo does exist, even though he does not admit it. Playoff Rondo is a thing. So how do you see Rondo's role working in season? Does he play more in playoffs because Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington, THC, they don't have that playoff experience as much as Rondo? So is that how you see it going? Kind of similar to me? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be a very big factor in the regular season, but I think that was the same thing that happened with last year. And then obviously we saw him being used and very vital in the playoffs because one thing, you don't count out playoff Rondo. That is the go. Like in the playoffs, man, he's a different beast. He just turns it up an extra notch. I mean, we all know the Los Angeles Flippers didn't know how to use him right. So we got him back. I missed the number 9, man. That's Rondo number 9, but we got him back. So, but I think he will be vital if things start slipping up.
Yes, Rajon Rondo is a very, very good leader on this team. And I think that he is kind of taking over that role. That's why they brought him in again. We lost some good pieces. We lost some good leaders, some defensive players, some good talkers as well. Jared Dudley was probably that veteran presence that all. Hey, you know what? People can hate on Jared Dudley. He didn't play, but that man was probably in the locker room and telling people what they did wrong, what they did right. He's that presence that you need on a team. He's that vocalness that you need. And I'm glad that we have Rondo coming back because unfortunately we could not keep Jared Dudley.
No, I agree with you with Jared Dudley. I was just laughing because he is a guy that will talk his shit on the bench, even though he's not doing anything. So that's why I was just laughing. But no, he is very vital, and I think he's gonna do great now that he's joining. He's becoming going into coaching. So you know, he's
Yeah,
very
Jared
vital.
Jared Dudley called out Ben Simmons before we could all call out Ben Simmons. So that man will talk his ish, and I love it. So that is the breakdown of the Los Angeles Lakers guards. We are going to move forward to the new acquisitions. Speaking about forwards, so the first forward I want to start with is a former Laker great. Love him. He was a pivotal part to 2009 championship. Name is Trevor Ariza, averaged 9.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.8 assists off 28 minutes last year. 35% three-point shooter. Look, if you're a Lakers fan, a true Lakers fan, you know that Trevor Ariza was a baller back in his day. Yes,
Mhm.
he is older now, but think he knows his role similar to everyone else on this team. He can come in 5-10 minutes, give you an extra defender. He's a gritty defender. He ain't gonna fall for any of that soft stuff. He'll get you some 3-pointers in there. He's not gonna be the main scorer. He knows his role. Do you see Trevor Ariza playing a lot this season?
Honestly, it's tough, but I mean us having these vets is going to be very useful because I mean that is the thing about being a championship caliber team. You need those people that know what it's like to win, know what it is. So I think we'll use him, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about regular season how much we'll use him because we also have to realize that um, we do have Carmelo too as well. So, but he is very vital. I think he's a great defender. We're not gonna look for him to go score like 25 or something like that. But
Mm,
on defense, he's a 3 and D. He's a 3 and D guy. He's a 3 and D guy. So
absolutely. Will bring a lot of toughness to the team, I believe.
in the grip.
So, speaking about Carmelo Anthony, since we're on the subject of the forwards, let's move into Carmelo Anthony. Played 24.5 minutes last season per game, 13.4 points, 3.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 40.9% three-point percentage. That is something that he has worked on throughout the years, transitioning from old school to new school NBA. If you don't know who Carmelo Anthony is, then you don't know basketball. Carmelo Anthony is a natural born scorer. And even though he can't defend as well as some of the other guards, or sorry, some of the other forwards, my apologies, I believe that Carmelo Anthony will probably be in the closing lineup. Not the starting lineup, but when it's the final five on the floor, probably the last 3 minutes, I can see Carmelo coming in there because Carmelo's clutch. He, with LeBron James, is one of the most statistically clutch players in the NBA ever to play. How do you see Carmelo fitting into this role? What do you think his role is? And do you see him fitting well along his best friend, LeBron James?
Man, this pickup was long overdue. I've been wanting him. I think we saw what he was. The league obviously was wrong. They thought this man still didn't have it. Didn't have what it was takes to play or get along with all the other players. And sometimes all these analysts be talking and they don't really know what they're talking about. And I think that us grabbing Carmelo, we saw what he did in Portland. We saw him go off in the bubble. Like we've seen what he's done time and time again, and I think it's going to be very vital when he comes up. Like I agree with you though. He's going to be closing, and he is that guy that you know sometimes that loves to go and take it at the last shot, take the last shot and close because we need that closer. Like Carmelo will go and take the ball. He said, "Bro, this is me. It's my time. I don't give I don't care. Like I'm taking my shot." So.
And with LeBron James on the floor, I'm sure that he would feel super comfortable with one of his long friends who he know can ball. Let's say
Mhm.
all the attention is going to LeBron James within the last 10 seconds. LeBron James will feel comfortable kicking it out to Carmelo Anthony for a 3 or a 2 to end the game. He could live with that.
Mhm.
Whereas in the bubble, kicking it out to Danny Green, on the other hand,
You
he
mean
can't
Danny
live with
Red?
that. LeBron made the right call. Danny Green just missed an open shot. It is what it is, but
Mhm.
I'm sure comparing the two, that LeBron will feel way more comfortable kicking that shot out to Carmelo versus kicking it out to Danny Green. That's
Absolutely.
that's the trust that I think will bring him to the closing five. The only thing is Carmelo is old and is a liability on defense, and that is a big thing in Frank Vogel's rotation. So it will be interesting to see how he will bring Carmelo into the last couple minutes. You don't want to bring him in cold, like you want him
Mhm.
to have a couple shots up. So I'm super excited to see about this roster. There's so many players,
Mhm.
maybe one day we'll have a lineup and the next day we'll have a completely different lineup. That's how
Yeah.
stacked the Lakers are. So let's go into the last forward. I am very interested about this guy. Possibly could be starting in my eyes is Kent Bazemore. A little bit on the younger side, kind of right in the middle, not too
Mhm.
old, not too young, right? Average
Mhm.
19.9 minutes. The stats won't really, amaze you. 7.2 points, 3.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists. Although 40.8 3-point percentage, and the reason why I could possibly see him sliding into the starting three is because he can play defense. He is a great defensive player. I think he's about 6'6", 6'7", around there.
Mhm.
Can shoot the
Yeah.
three over 40%. Can dribble off screens. It's possible he could slide into that three position. We'll talk about it in the end for our lineups. But what do you think of Kent Bazemore?
Definitely a shooter that we needed. You know, it kind of gives me a feel of Ben McLemore when we had him, and even though we didn't even get to use him properly, I hope the same that we actually get to use him because with Vogel, sometimes it's just iffy on who gets the minutes. Like you saw with Montrezl Harrell, you saw it with we I hope that he uses our guy correctly. But that's an interesting thought of having him as a starter. Like I didn't picture it myself, but I mean, we'll see how the season goes, and so we'll see how it plays out, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Kent Bazemore, a great shooter on the team. I love it. Love all the acquisitions. So those are the forwards: Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Carmelo Anthony. Let's move in to the final part of this video, and that is breaking down the centers for the Los Angeles Lakers this year. Let's start off with the big man, Dwight Howard. So happy to see him back. This man's energy is so positive, a fan favorite, even though LA used to hate him. I think Dwight Howard's just that guy you need in the locker room. Yes, he can be serious, but he can also be fun. You can bring youth to the team. I love Dwight Howard. He knows his role. He came in not even on a guaranteed contract for the Lakers and played perfectly all year. They ended up giving him the contract throughout halfway through the year, and then he was so pivotal in the Denver matchup because he bodied Jokic. Jokic was scared. Jokic was
Yeah.
big scared. Dwight Howard is a strong man. Okay, knows his role perfectly. Block shots, rebound, run the floor. What do you think of Dwight Howard coming back? I know you must be excited.
Bro, it's hype, man. We got a man amongst boys, so we definitely needed him, and that's what we were missing last year. I remember. I know you were hurt about it that we
I
lost him.
was.
I was too, because we just didn't want. I don't know why. I don't know why they just let him went to Philly. Didn't want to offer him, but I. It's that's last year's news, and then now we got him back, and I think he's very very instrumental for us. Like I can't wait to see what he's going to do in the playoffs. I mean, we know what he did when we won that ring. So he's going to bring that intensity. He's going to be that dog. Like he's going to be that bad boy. So he's going to be like a bruiser. So I'm just there's so many things that rim running. Like I'm glad. I'm
I'm,
happy.
I'm laughing because Dwight Howard got ejected from the last preseason game
I saw that.
for talking to Harden.
That's
Oh my God. This is
what I'm
why I'm so
saying.
excited to have him back. Who gets ejected in a preseason game? Dwight Howard does. Okay. Another big name we got DeAndre Jordan, similar to Dwight Howard, very athletic, can run the floor, get rebounds, block shots. Pretty much the same player almost, really. Super excited to have these options at bigs because from what the rumors are saying, Anthony Davis is gonna slide to the 5. I don't know if that's how it was because preseason yesterday he was at the 4. Not entirely sure. But what do you think of DeAndre Jordan? our bigs, DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis. What do you think of DeAndre Jordan coming in? Another veteran presence.
I don't feel like he'll be used as much. I think I mean he's getting to that near the end of the stretch of his career, but he's definitely a good locker room guy to have. Very funny. I can't wait to see all the jokes that happen in the press conference and in the media. So I think it's gonna bring that the chemistry and make it mesh well together. So I think that's what he's providing for us. So.
Absolutely. So that is a breakdown of the roster with the newly acquired guys for the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, we did not do LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We already know what they bring to the table.
Uh,
We just focused today on the newly acquired Lakers and the roles that they will fit into the team, some statistics, some of their game. Ozzy, I love talking Lakers basketball with you. It's always so fun. Before we end this video, I want to know your starting five for the Los Angeles Lakers. I will let you go first. I gotta work on mine right here. I'm gonna do it as you're doing yours. Maybe
uh,
we'll be acquired. I know you had THT in there, which is super interesting. So
uh,
let me hear your starting five prediction for the 2021-2022 Los Angeles Lakers. Let me hear it.
so we already know it's gonna be Russ, LeBron, and AD. I think I want to see AD at the five. That's
Me
what
too.
I've been hearing. So
Me
if
too.
I'm going with what everybody's saying, so I'm gonna have him at the five. Now
Mm-hmm.
I think they might play LeBron at the four.
Absolutely.
I think that's what they're gonna do now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we can move him around anywhere. Now the 3-1 that is going to be interesting. I think we might I think we might start it's either gonna be Ariza, it's either gonna be Bazemore. That's who I'm flip flopping around.
Yes,
But
you heard my Bazemore prediction, and you're like, wait, I can see
before,
it.
yeah, once you said that, I was like, okay, I can see him slipping in the forward position.
It
Um,
over a 40% 3-point shooter, can
mhm,
dribble the ball, can defend probably the best out of possibly Trevor Ariza and Carmelo Anthony's for the forwards.
mhm.
So I don't know. It works for me. So
Yeah,
who you putting in there?
yeah. Hmm. Man, now that you said it, I think I might have to go with Bazemore at the three because I mean we do need that wing player, so I think that's gonna work. And then Carmelo the six man, so I think he's gonna be that guy off the six man running with the unit, doing what he does, creating the shots. So
Okay. So you got who you got as your number two?
my
You
number
got
two,
THT.
THT. That's what I think.
So you have Russell Westbrook, THT, Kent Bazemore, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I would be down for that lineup. Don't get me
Uh-huh.
wrong. Um, for my starting five, I gotta go very similar. Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, just
Uh-huh.
because I think he's a little bit more experienced,
Uh-huh.
and they have THT for a 3-year contract, so I still think they're gonna develop him some more.
Uh-huh.
But I could be wrong. You could be wrong. Anyone could be wrong. No one knows.
Uh-huh.
So I got Russell Westbrook and Kendrick Nunn. I got Bazemore at the 3, LeBron James at the 4, and Anthony Davis at the 5.
Okay.
I like
That's
that.
interesting. That's interesting though. Oh,
But I like it because Kendrick Nunn is, in my mind, a better defender than THT at the moment.
uh-huh.
Has a little bit more experience, I believe, sometimes more controlled. He is a more of a scorer. THT is a scorer too, but he makes rookie mistakes. We saw it
Yeah.
last season, even though how
Uh-huh.
good he is. We saw the turnovers at costly times. We saw that.
Uh-huh.
So I just got Kendrick Nunn, a little bit more experience in there. Will work well off Russell Westbrook attacking the rim. Bazemore, LeBron, and AD. I love it.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because, but the thing is, Russell Westbrook and Kendrick Nunn being both on there, don't you think they're both the same type of slasher? So that's why I was kind of, because
Yeah, Yeah, THT and Kendrick Nunn, they're both attackers to the rim. They both drive to the rim really well. Um, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who is a better 3-point shooter and a better defender in Vogel's system, really.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
if THT can prove that, I know they did give him a lot of money, so maybe they will start him. Maybe they
Mhm.
will, man.
Mhm.
Again, we don't know. That's why I'm super excited for season to start. Um, it could be anything. But
Yeah.
anyways, Ozzy, so happy that you came on the show, man.
Of
I'm
course,
so
man.
happy to see you, man. You've been
Man,
doing
glad to
great.
pop out.
You've been doing great things. I see it on all your social media platforms. I
Yeah.
see you putting the work in.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show, guys. This is Swanton Productions for the Love of Sports. My name is Robert Swan, and I am the host of this show. Ozzy, do you have anything to say before we go? Any shout outs, any, your platforms? Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you end it.
I like to say, man, thanks Swan Productions, having me over here, pop out, just talk what we love, man, basketball, man. So, and make sure to go follow Ozzy Superfly. Hey, man, check out. I just dropped some new heat. So, hey, my story. So,
Very heat,
go.
very fire. All right, Ozzy, we will have you on the show again sometime. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching, guys. This has been a breakdown of the Los Angeles Lakers roster. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more content coming out soon. Thank you again. Everybody be safe. Have a great night tonight.
Peace.